Hey, Rob, this is another stab at how to help teams that are split amongst time zones. There are so many things that can be done to help. One thing that I'm finding to be kind of a critical thing to address is the tools that we use in a split time zone environment. So we'll say, even if you and I are in the same time zone, but don't have the same working hours, that is also the same type of situation. So this applies in a lot of contexts. So a lot of us are using some kind of task management tools like Jira, maybe Trello, Asana, spreadsheets, DevOps. We could fill in the blank with a number of them out there. I think Rike is pretty popular amongst marketing companies. That's great, but if we don't have some sense of simplicity for how we're using these things, we can really get a lot of information fragmented all over the place. So tech sprawl can be an issue. I would limit your tech sprawl, limit the number of tools that you have in play, define how you're going to use these things so it can become a lot more effective. So as you're building your tool set, those collaboration tools are helpful. Just limit them, keep them simple, and try to reduce the complexity at all costs.
Yeah, and mine goes away from tools and more into people. So fostering a culture of trust and autonomy is going to be necessary so that you don't have to feel like you've got to check in with your people in other parts of the world every 5 minutes. You got to get the right people, and this is no easy task. Sometimes you just end up with the people you end up with, and hey, congratulations, these folks are on your team, manage it. And so I was just dealing with this the other day with one of my students where they've got a situation, they've got employees in another country, but there's some trust issues there, and they treat him like he was some, super senior leader, and therefore they weren't disclosing things that they probably should have. So there was a reduction in transparency. Part of it had to do with a little bit of a lack of culture of trust and autonomy from this other group. And when mistakes would happen, no one would take accountability, which was frustrating their local counterpart. I suggested something we'll talk later about in terms of just go see them, but we want to reduce the need for check-ins, and to do that, we're going to have to focus hard on building up some of that trust, making sure that these teams can be autonomous and that self-management can really flourish.
If we're going to have any sense of collaboration, we're going to need to choose some allocated overlap time. When are we going to meet together? So if you're on the other side of the planet, chances are there's going to be a time for you and I to collaborate where I'm up in the wee hours of the morning collaborating with you, or vice versa. So what's going to make sense? Does it make sense for one time zone to always have to take the brunt of the early mornings or the super late nights? Or can we kind of share the burden? I think it's a good idea to share the burden. I would not suggest doing it every single day. Maybe it's once a week you have this overlap, or once every 2 weeks. You're going to have to assess the risk of your work, and how essential is that collaboration, face-to-face synchronous communication. We've talked some already about the key reasons why asynchronous communication are going to be really essential here. This is a good point in time, but there's occasion when you just need to triage. You need to get people on deck to be able to talk about these situations. I would say the more messy your work, you'll probably have to have more overlap. The less messy, you'll probably be able to get away with less frequent overlap meetings.
Sure. Yeah, and along that same vein of like how you handle these meetings, one thing you could consider is rotating your meeting times. Maybe we do daily Scrum at a time that's convenient for 5 of us, but the other 5 feel the pain for a couple of weeks, and then rotate it again so that the others can have a more reasonable schedule, while the other local people maybe are the ones that are going to the off-hours daily Scrums. And, of course, try to minimize the amount of painful overlap you have, but without being able to communicate at all with the other team, makes it extremely challenging to get efficient answers to your questions, convey progress, and so forth. Perhaps, just rotating the time, find the best consistent times you can, but then work around it. And, one thing we haven't really mentioned a lot of is, like, if you can just not build teams in 12 different time zones, it's going to help you. Located, what do you call it? If your team members are all within a similar time zone, even though it's a few hours apart, that's going to be a whole lot better than trying to build teams that are 12 hours apart. You're just asking for pain. And if you can't get around it, a lot of these ideas that we're coming up with are really just to handle the situations where you just can't build teams that are in a similar-ish time zone.
Isn't this partly due to companies that acquire other companies. So I'm a big company. I just bought 3 other companies. Now we're to come together. They're all collaborating on a single project, but you can't move 3 companies to a single location or a single time zone. What do? Well, you're left with what you have. So instead of building teams around a product, you've got teams that are all now converging on a single product. And that's kind of the issue. I'm going to throw a giant asterisk next to this one because it would be a violation of the Scrum Guide. And I'll have Scrum cops come in and putting
Scrum
chains
cuffs
on
on
me.
you?
Yeah, they'll be all over the house in no time flat. But the idea of doing asynchronous daily Scrum, so I know it says meet at the same time at the same place, but when your place is virtual, it's kind of weird because, Rob, you're in Chicago and I'm in Wichita. Technically, this isn't the same place. Are we in violation of Scrum? So asynchronous daily Scrum gives us a sense of we're still communicating, and if we're doing a great job during the 24 hours and really good at communicating our work throughout that 24 hours, you should be able to post something as a post for a daily Scrum. We call it e-Scrum sometimes, or I'm going to do an e-Scrum, so people are knowing what's up. And if we need to collaborate, we can still do so, but consider asynchronous daily Scrum to reduce some of the burden.
Yeah, it's a good idea. And I mean, at the end of the day, with all of these experiments, just make sure you're talking about them in your retrospection. If they're not working, try something else.
Absolutely.